Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Yanti. I'm from Class C English Education 2019. Okay, in this video I will explain about the theoretical model 5 hypotheses. The first hypothesis is the acquisition learning hypothesis. This hypothesis claims that adults have two distinct ways of developing competence in second language. The first way is via language acquisition, that is by using language for real communication. Language acquisition is the natural way to develop linguistic ability and is a subject consequence process. The second way to develop competence in a second language is by language learning. Learning is knowing about language or formal knowledge of a language, while acquisition is subconscious. Okay, the second hypothesis is the natural order hypothesis. This hypothesis says that grammatical structure are acquired necessary manner in a predictable order. It says that we will see similarities across acquired certain structure will tend to be acquired early, while others will tend to be acquired late. The natural order hypothesis has been confirmed for various structures in children. First, language acquisition from mapped the growth of 14 grammatical morphemes over time in 3 children. Longitudinal study and found starting simulators in the order of acquisition, but not in the degree of acquisition. From and other research conclude from their research that parents are more congruent with the truth value of one children, say that from the order of acquisition of a second language is not exactly the same as the of acquisition of a first language, but there are some clear similarities. This natural order adult or subject comes to occur only under certain conditions. It might not occur when we give adults grammar tests, but plus relative when we focus adults on communication. Certain attitude variables relate primarily to substantial language. To substantial language acquisition, and that they have to affect one they actually incorrect input. People who are motive and have a positive self-image will seek and about more input, and two, they contribute to the lower filter, give to acquire with the same input. The one with the lower filter with hypothesis, the mentor hypothesis. This hypothesis states that consequence learning has an externally limited restriction in adult second language performance. It can only be used as a monitor or an editor. The hypothesis says that when we product observe accounts in a second language, the utterance is instilled by the acquired system, and our consequence learning only comes into play later. We can choose use the monitor to make change in our utterance only after the utterance has been generated by the acquired system. This to me happen before actually speak or write, or it may happen after when it happens after the utterance has been produced. Utterance or written is it is called self-repair. Okay, next, the fourth hypothesis is the input hypothesis. This hypothesis states simply that we acquire, not learn, language by understanding input that is a little below our current level of required competence. This hypothesis is, in our opinion, of crucial importance since it attempts to answer a question that is important both theoretically and practically. Okay, the input hypothesis claims a question that is listening, comprehension, and reading are the primary important in the language program, and that ability to speak or write fluently in a second language will come on its own with time. Tahu dengan lebih jelasnya, hipotesis ini dinyatakan dengan I tambah 1. I sama dengan pengetahuan bahasa yang dimiliki sebelum belajar, sedangkan 1 pengetahuan bahasa yang diperoleh setingkat lebih tinggi setelah belajar. Okay, next, the fifth hypothesis is the effective filter hypothesis. This hypothesis states the attitudinal variables relating to success in second language acquisition generally relate directly to language acquisition. 38 the nature of parts but not necessary to language learning. The research literature indicates that certain types of motivation, usually but not always integrative, 23 and with good self-image to better second language acquisition. So the best situation for language acquisition seems to be choose which encourage lower agency levels. The recent effective factor are hypotheses to be directly related to acquisition is that in general they appear to related strongly to second language segment when communicated types states are used. Tests that involve the acquired rather than that their learned system, and when the students taking the test have encountered it that atau dengan lebih jelasnya, the effectiveness filter hypothesis menyatakan bahwa variabel sikap berkaitan dengan pencapaian bahasa seseorang. Semakin rendah filter efektivitas seseorang, maka akan semakin mudah ia memperoleh bahasa kedua. Oke, sekian dari saya. Terima kasih.